We are blessed to live in the city of Cypress, and we are obligated, happily, to build on that legacy. As you listen to Mayor Morales, please savor that blessing, living and working and going to school in the city of Cypress. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mayor Paulo Morales, who once in his previous career oversaw an accident site that my son was part of. He did a good job. My son was scared to pieces and never did that again. Mayor Paulo Morales is in his second full 4-year term on the Cypress City Council, and this is also his second 1-year term as mayor. This is also his last year on the Cypress City Council, and it has been an honor for the Chamber of Commerce to have worked with Mayor Morales throughout his council service. Prior to his council service, Paulo had a long and distinguished career serving the city of Cypress on the Cypress Police Department. Please welcome the Mayor of Cypress, Paulo Morales.
Thank you, Shelley. So, good evening and welcome to the City of Cypress 2022 State of the City. We are pleased that you could join us today. I am, as Shelley so wonderfully said, Cypress Mayor Paulo Morales, and I am proud to address you. The State of the City is always special, but for me, the event is especially significant because it's the culmination of more than 3 decades of service to this great community. First, as she also let you know, as a police officer, and now as a council member. As I look out into the audience, I'm happy to see many familiar faces. I see people I've worked with during my 8 years on the City Council, and I see people I met during 25 years with the police department. And if I met you while I was in uniform, kind of like Shelley's son, don't worry, I won't be disclosing how I met you. I won't be giving out any of that information. But that's a whole story for another day. And for a Frappuccino, I can always keep it secret. So now, before I start to talk about the state of our great city, I want to take the time to thank city staff and the Cypress Chamber of Commerce for all the hard work that went into making this special evening possible. So if you're here, any of our staff members from the city and the chamber, please raise your hands. Let everybody know where you're at. That's correct, Lisa, well up here. Exactly. I'd also like to introduce my colleagues on the Cypress City Council. Please hold your applause until the end. Mayor Pro Tem Ann Hertz-Malari, Councilmember Francis Marquez, Councilmember Scott Minikis, and Councilmember John Pete. Thank you all for being here and for your service to our city. So I'm also glad to welcome special guests and dignitaries who are here with us this evening. Please raise your hands so that we can acknowledge you. If it's easier just to stand where you're at, that'll be terrific. Today, we're honored to be joined by Assemblymember Sharon Quirk-Silva. So, I have known the Assemblywoman for a number of years. I won't tell you how many because it would make either one of us sound old, but I remember way back when she started her career in public service with the city of Fullerton and their council. So she is a terrific woman, and more than being just a state legislator, she's a terrific person. In fact, we have worked with her, and I believe she's currently working on a program for our Boys and Girls Club here in the city of Cypress. So Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk-Silva, welcome. So we also have with us the Cypress School Board District members Bonnie Pete, Lydia Sandi, Brian Nakamura, and Candace Kern. From the Savannah School District, board members Tina Karanik, Chris Brown, John Shook, and Dr. Gay Zambrano. From the Anaheim Union High School District Board of Trustee member and former Cypress Mayor, Anna Piercy. She's here somewhere. Buena Park City Council members Susan Son and Connor Trout. La Palma City Council member Marshall Goodman. Stanton City Council member Alice Vann. Orange County Board of Education member Marie Bark. And former Cypress mayors both Tim Keenan and Mary Ellen Yark. Let's give them a big round of applause, all of them, for their public service. So, what is the state of the city of Cypress? We are resilient and we are stable. And most importantly, we are dedicated to serving this great community. From an economic standpoint, from a public safety standpoint, and from a community involvement standpoint, Cypress has a vitality that can only come from a city and a community where we are all pulling in the same direction. Quality of life here in Cypress really begins with public safety. And I can proudly state that our city is safe and continues to get safer. You may remember that at last year's State of the City, we offered tours of the police station as it was under construction. Believe it or not, that project was the first major renovation since the station was built in 1982. So now, bringing a 40-year-old police station that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year up to date is not cheap. But I'm happy to report that the station modernization has been successfully completed and was largely funded by assets seized from criminals. How's that for a fun fact? Yeah, that's about the only time we want to thank them. So, on May 14th, we celebrated the Cypress Police Station's reopening with an official ribbon cutting as part of our annual public safety open house. We had tours of the station, a canine demonstration, and an opportunity for residents to see all of the public safety equipment and vehicles that we use to keep Cypress safe. But most importantly, our community had a chance to meet the women and men whose life work is to protect and serve all in the city of Cypress. Looking at some of the statistics in Cypress, robberies are down 13%. Aggravated assaults are down by more than 50%, and burglaries are down 15%. Your chances of being the victim of a violent crime here in Cypress are 4 times lower than the California average, and property crimes in our city are far below the national average. So now, I shared earlier that I served as a police officer for 25 years, and I know how hard it is for Chief Louderback and his team to work to keep our residents safe. But it's you, the citizens of Cypress, who ensure that public safety remains the community's top priority. Not only do you hold us accountable, but you are also our eyes and our ears, and we count on you to help us keep the community safe. So if you see something, say something. And if you are looking for more opportunities to help keep Cypress safe, I urge you to learn about the Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT, that will train you how to keep your family and neighborhood safe in the event of an emergency. And there's also our Volunteers in Policing program, where you can work alongside our brave police officers. Thank you for the role that you play in keeping our communities safe. A final note about Cypress's outstanding police department. I mentioned our canine unit earlier. We are fortunate to have 2 police officers, both Officer Murmur and Officer Marshall, who both partner with 2 police service dogs, Bono and Kubo. And one of their jobs is working with the West County SWAT team. In July, while officers were serving a murder warrant in the city of Anaheim, Canine Kubo was injured by gunfire. Fortunately, Kubo suffered only minor injuries to his ear and was back to work in no time. He now wears a set of Apple AirPods as part of his rehab and listens to soundtracks from both Lassie and Rin Tin Tin. If anybody has to look up, Rin Tin Tin was one of those hero dogs. Okay, just so you know, I learned from somebody else who never heard of that. But I understand we're still trying to figure out who filled out that paperwork and approved that rehab project. But I hear that Kubo also told his partner, Officer Marshall, that a sore ear wasn't the worst part of getting shot, that it was the embarrassment of wearing the cone of shame. Thank you to everyone who sent well wishes and gifts to Kubo, and please join me in giving Kubo and his partner, Officer Marshall, a round of applause for their valiant service. And please be sure to follow them on social media. Officer Marshall. And for certain dog treats, he will pass over his playlist for anybody that wants to know what he's listening to. The city manager will never forgive me if I didn't take this opportunity to mention that the Cypress Police Department is hiring. So if you think you have what it takes and are interested in serving your community, go to cypresspd.org to learn more. As a former Cypress police officer, I can tell you there is nothing more noble and rewarding than dedicating oneself to public service, to protecting democracy, and ensuring that all enjoy a high quality of life. So let me take this time, ladies and gentlemen, please thank all members of our City of Cypress Police Department. Now, the City Council uses many tools to gauge how the city is doing. We talk to residents, we work with our expert city employees, and we rely on data and statistics. The census tells us who lives here. The crime reports I just spoke about tell us if a place is safe, and engineering data reveals the condition of our infrastructure. Here in Cypress, we also use a community survey to help complete the story of what is working, where we have room to improve, and most importantly, what our community thinks. Earlier this year, we conducted our second statistically reliable and independent community survey to understand resident satisfaction, priorities, and concerns. And like our first survey in 2018, we received a high level of engagement. 707 randomly selected residents completed the survey. Now, that might not seem like all that many people, but for a statistically reliable survey, 707 participants is actually a high level of participation. To put it in comparison, for example, the city of Burbank, which is twice our size, conducted a similar survey and they only had 590 residents participate. So with so many residents taking the survey, the margin of error for our survey was only 3%. That means that if we managed to survey all 38,000 adults living in Cypress, the responses would only vary by plus or minus 3%. That's why we can say with confidence that the survey accurately reflects the opinions of our residents. Our survey asked about public safety, quality of life, city services, as well as our communications efforts, and whether you felt Cypress was a good place to raise a family. The response was overwhelmingly positive. 95% of those surveys said Cypress is a safe place to live. 91% of you said it was a good or excellent place to raise a family. And nearly 1 in 3 participants said they could not think of anything that they would change, or flatly stated that no changes were needed. They like Cypress just the way it is. The survey also gave us insight on the issues the community is most interested in. Challenges surrounding homelessness led the list, followed by managing growth and development and traffic. I'm proud to say that Cypress has had a proactive approach to homelessness for several years. We helped found the North Orange County Public Safety Collaborative, a first-of-its-kind partnership that brings police officers, social workers, and nonprofits to connect homeless individuals with the services and shelter they need when they need it. We help build shelters in our neighboring cities of Buena Park and in the city of Placentia. And last but not least, the City Council's strategic plan has provided the police department regional resources to respond to nonviolent homelessness calls with mental health and social worker resources. And why that's important? Because we like to work in partnership, not just here in our city, of course, but one that I am familiar with, and we have Councilman Marshall's here, and we have worked with his department in the city of La Palma to help make that program better effective. So thank you very much. But providing shelter beds is just one part of what California must do to address the homelessness crisis. We also have to create more housing. We took a step in that direction last month when the California Department of Housing and Community Development certified the city's 2021 to 2029 housing element. We are only the 5th city in Orange County to complete the state's cumbersome certification process, which took 18 months and included extensive community engagement, public hearings, and city council workshops. The housing element is an analysis of the city's demographics and economic conditions that help us determine how to accommodate additional housing to meet the city's state-mandated Regional Housing Needs Assessment, or RHNA, of nearly 4,000 units. Implementing the housing element programs will require several more years of work by the City Council and the staff. And in 2024, voters will be asked to consider changes to the Cypress Town Center and Commons specific plan to help make the housing element a reality and bring additional opportunities and tax revenue to Cypress to support our city government and school districts. We're doing more than just planning for housing in Cypress. We're building it. We have 450 new homes under construction. 50 of the 98 new townhomes at Citrus Square are dedicated as affordable housing for seniors and should be ready by the middle of next year. And if you're looking for a bigger space, Belmont offers 135 townhomes just north of Costco that are for sale now and will be completed early next year. There's also a lot of construction at the square just west of Costco, which I'm sure many of you have seen if you travel down Catella. This is a project that the city has been working on since 2006. And it was a top priority for Councilmember Pete and I when we were elected in 2014. Our city team did a brilliant job of realizing the City Council's vision for the site. Working with Shea Properties, we have a great project that brings terrific amenities for residents and addresses a housing shortage that was holding back growth in our business parks. The square's 251 Acadia apartments offer resort-style living, including a pool, spa, fitness room, clubhouse, and should be available by the end of 2024. Accompanying the apartments are 2 new full-service restaurants, a 120-room Homewood Suites by Hilton, and, stand by, Trader Joe's. Now, we expect Trader Joe's to open before the end of the year and cannot wait to welcome them to Cypress. Recruiting a business to Cypress of Trader Joe's caliber isn't just exciting, it's also fitting. Much like the city of Cypress, Trader Joe's seeks to create an environment that fosters and connects a community. In fact, each Trader Joe's is designed to represent its respective area and typically includes artwork that represents the neighborhood it serves. I personally can't wait to see the store come to life and to see how Trader Joe's celebrates our great Cypress community. So if anyone out there tonight is from the Trader Joe's team, if they happen to be here, I have some ideas for your chalkboards and your aisle names. Those familiar with our history know that Cypress was originally named Dairy City, and Trader Joe's really needs to capitalize on that. I just can't think of a better name for the dairy aisle, or how about the Singing Hen Egg Ranch for the poultry section? I can see it already, but I know I'm digressing, so Come find me later if you want to hear more of my ideas. Our ability to look forward, though, to the future and welcome new businesses is made possible thanks to the legacy and success of the businesses and visionaries that have already made enormous contributions to Cypress. 2022 marks the 40th anniversary of the foresight and planning that brought our business parks to life. For those old enough to remember, the business parks were once all farmland, 800 acres of strawberry fields as far as the eye could see. But like Dairy City and all its cows, the agricultural uses gave way to progress and development. Cypress smartly balanced its growth with jobs, business, and corporate headquarters. To give you a sense of how much things have changed since those visionary decisions were made, as I prepared to give tonight's State of the City address, we connected with Mark Armbruster, who helped Cypress Land and Worland Investments establish the business parks in the 1980s. And Mark told me a story about learning a new form of communication that occurred in the 1980s. Mark recalls that our then planning director, Christine Kelly, told him, quote, she'd email the city manager. Mark said, okay, and left the meeting, uncertain what an email was, but he figured it sounded important. So as you might imagine, Cypress leaders considered several uses for the land that eventually became the business parks. At one point, we even considered designating the area for a shopping center or a mall. Can you imagine that? I, for one, think we made the best decision. The business parks have grown substantially over the past 4 decades, and the park owners have proven to be great partners, helping maintain a balance between business and community and supporting Cypress at every turn. In 2022, the business parks are the city's biggest taxpayers, and they create more than 17,000 jobs. So on this anniversary, I want to recognize and thank the visionaries from Cypress Land and Worland Investments who founded the parks and continue to partner with us to ensure their ongoing success. They are not faceless corporations or equity funds out for a quick dollar. They are residents of Cypress as invested in our community as we are. Their history and commitment to Cypress predates the business parks. In fact, Worland Investments has been investing in Cypress since 1951, before there was even a Cypress. And their commitment to building lasting value has benefited our entire community. A few of the visionaries responsible for the creation and ongoing success of the business parks are here with us today. Please raise your hand so that we can recognize you. From Cypress Land, there's Darren Harvey, Matt Doss, Mark Umberster, and Eric Hernandez. And from Worland Investments, Chip Robertson and Samantha Lagman. Please join me again in giving Cypress Land and Worland Investments a big round of applause for more than 40 years of success. As part of that legacy, as the world changes and new companies and technologies arrive, the city and business parks are partnering to update the planning documents that govern the parks to ensure that they thrive into the 21st century, just like they did in the 20th century. And it goes without saying that the past few years have challenged our business community. I'm proud to recount that the city rallied to support business big and small by investing more than $2 million in Cypress's employers and entrepreneurs. 158 Cypress businesses with fewer than 25 employees received help from the City Council's Small Business Relief Program. And our Resiliency Grant Program benefited another 143 businesses. We made home-based business grants available to home-based businesses, and our innovative Community Plates program connected Cypress restaurants with Cypress residents to provide thousands of free meals during the worst of the pandemic lockdowns. Our City Council also created a widely successful business recovery program to help our local economy recover and grow as we emerge from the pandemic. This program waives fees for businesses that are making improvements, expanding, or moving to Cypress. So far, we have assisted over 150 businesses and have waived nearly $200,000 in fees. To meet the ongoing needs of our business partners, I am proud to share that the city has hired an accomplished business development manager who started yesterday, as a matter of fact. Our new business development manager is an ombudsman for the business community and represents the City Council's most recent investment in retaining and recruiting businesses in Cypress. As you can see, we're working hard to support our business community and to make sure that they know that they made the right decision when they chose to open their business in Cypress. 2022 was also a banner year for Cypress Recreation and Community Services. We opened Lexington Park with spectacular new athletic fields, shaded play structures, exercise stations, picnic shelters, sports courts for basketball, volleyball, and pickleball, and of course, extra parking to accommodate park users, players, families, and fans. Lexington Park was developed in partnership with the neighborhood that surrounds it, and I want to thank everyone who engaged with us as we planned the park. With Lexington Park successfully completed and packed with kids and athletes, we've turned our attention to reimagining Arnold Cypress Park. Built in 1949, Arnold Cypress Park is older than the city and is overdue for a makeover. With the city's community's input, we've created a design that guarantees Arnold Cypress Park remains the home for our splendiferous, yes, that really is a word, I say so, for our splendiferous Cypress Girls Softball League, and gives them top-notch bullpens, batting cages, and bleachers, along with pickleball courts, a basketball court, a walking trail, a kids' play area, fitness equipment, picnic amenities, and more parking. Whew. We expect the park to open in 2025, and we're very excited to see your vision come to life. The night the City Council, in fact, approved the park's new design, it was one of the highlights of my time on City Council. The council chambers were full of softball players who were nervously watching the City Council discuss the project to make sure that the park was well designed and reflected the community's wants and needs. When we finished our deliberation and voted to approve the project, the softball players cheered wildly. I almost felt like a celebrity. And I'm not the only one with a soft spot for Cypress youth sports programs. Our city manager, and I know he's here somewhere, and I'm trying to find him, especially for you Girl Scouts. Our city manager told me that a couple of weeks later, after we approved that park program, one of the softball players recognized him eating pizza at Coach's Corner, thanked him for the park upgrades, and then sold him all of her fundraising chocolate bars. So you didn't hear it from me, but like I said, apparently if you spot the city manager out there in the wild, he's prone to buying chocolate bar or 20. And attention Girl Scouts, when that time of the year comes for Girl Scout cookies, he's your man. In addition to bringing parks to life, our Recreation Community Services team also puts on amazing events and programs. One of my favorites is Salute to America. So for those who haven't been, Salute to America is a star-spangled festivity held at Cypress College, where everyone brings out their lawn chairs. We dress in red, white, and blue. We have performances from local community groups, a concert, food trucks, kids' activities, and community booths, a patriotic fireworks spectacular. You get the picture. It's a great night, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there next July, as a civilian this time. And it's another example of how the City of Cypress partners with. And I know Dr. Schilling is here, but the president of Cypress College, thank you very much for that partnership and helping us to bring this program to life. And of course, throughout October, we celebrate our community in a series of events that we call Celebrate Cypress. Our month-long celebration began with the Community Festival and the Cypress Run. I want to take a moment to highlight the Cypress Run because this year we commemorated its 40th anniversary, and the number of runners returned to pre-pandemic levels. The starting line was a sight to see, with runners of all ages and abilities who got to enjoy a concert when they finished the run. Our Recreation and Community Services team works year-round to bring you activities for the whole family. From day camps to drop-in sports to concerts on the green and events at the Senior Center, there is something for everyone. Our RCS team is just 12 full-time employees, and I'm always impressed by how much they do for the community. If you haven't checked out our recreation activity guide, you're missing out. The best advice I can give you tonight is to visit our website and sign up for one of the fantabulous offerings. So let's have a hand for all of our RCS staff. I also want to recognize city staff for launching our first Citizens Academy. This free 6-week program provided Cypress residents and business owners an up-close look at the departments that provide services to our residents. From public safety and public works to recreation, this year's grads walked away with a better understanding of everything that goes on behind the scenes at City Hall that makes Cypress such a wonderful place to call home. As I take a step back and I reflect on my time on the City Council, the past 8 years have offered us a series of economic challenges: recovering from the Great Recession, navigating a pandemic, and now inflation and the specter of another recession. Through it all, Cypress has come out stronger than ever. When Councilmember Pete and I were elected, the city was in a strong financial position, and we had $140 million in reserve. 8 years later, I am enormously proud to say that we have grown those reserves to more than $200 million. And I will add to something that Shelley Henderson said earlier. This was no accident. Cypress has a terrific leadership team, and over the decades, the voters have elected council members who have prioritized fiscal leadership. We have made city operations more efficient, and we provide more services than ever before with fewer employees. Our Cypress Central app and website have opened City Hall 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that you can do business with the city on your terms. Most significantly, the City Council reduced the city's retiree pension obligation by $18 million when it created a special trust in 2018. Since this is my final State of the City, I want to express my gratitude to the council members who came before, to our outstanding city staff, to our commissioners, to our volunteers, and most importantly, to all of you, the citizens of Cypress, for allowing us to serve you. Thank you very much to our current City Council, Mayor Pro Tem Ann Hertz-Malari, Council members Francis Marquez, Scott Minikis, and John Pete. In particular, I would like to thank John. You know, I keep pointing, you better be there, I can't see. Perfect, all right. Whew. I would like to thank John, whose term is concluding with mine after serving I am such a marshmallow, dadgummit. Let's try that again. John, are you still there? All right, perfect. In particular, I'd like to thank John, whose term is concluding with mine after serving our city for the last 8 years. John, we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I have always appreciated your dedication to Cypress, your integrity, and your commitment to serving our neighbors. And I will always value our friendship. Please give me a round, join with me in giving John Pete a round of applause. Folks, we serve on the City Council as public servants and as stewards of the civic trust. We stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before us, who set Cypress on the right course. And together we have made ours a fiscally stable city with great parks, reliable infrastructure, and a commitment to public safety. And if you take a close look at the city seal, right below the American shield, you'll see the word progress. It's the name of our city newsletter, The Progress, and it's the philosophy that has made Cypress an oasis. I open tonight by talking about what can be achieved when the city council, the city staff, and residents all pull in the same direction. When that happens, we put community first. We can come together to invest in our park system, to make Cypress even safer, and to preserve our roads and our infrastructure. Our lodestar must be honesty, transparency, and always approaching everything we do with a servant's heart. In his famous poem, O Me, O Life, Walt Whitman laments the futility of human struggle, but concludes with a life-affirming thought that the powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse. We all have a verse to contribute. Some may volunteer at the senior center, some may work in public works, some may serve on a commission or even on the city council. But in order to keep Cypress the beautiful community we know and love, and to honor our commitment to progress, we must all contribute a verse. My verse on the city council is complete, and I'll fade back into the chorus, but I will continue to contribute verses in other ways. That's how I'll do my part to maintain Cypress's progress. Thank you for allowing me to serve as mayor and a steward of your public trust. Have a great evening.